It's March 2nd and it is time for another monthly reading vlog. I love March. It's one of my favorite months. Yeah, it's stormy and cold. It's definitely not summer yet, but March is my birthday month. March is spring. March is daylight savings time and we start to get longer days and more time to play outside. The trees start blooming, the flowers come up. March is kind of a happy month for me. This month I am reading books with blue covers, and I was looking through my books to try and find some that had like a theme, some that worked together well. And you know what I noticed is that a lot of romance books have blue covers. I'm not really sure why that is. I guess maybe it's just a trend. I picked out 3 romance novels that have blue covers to read over the next week or so. This first week of March is going to be pretty busy for me. I am actually packing. I'm getting ready to fly to San Diego to visit with a friend for the weekend. This is the first time I'm going to be on a plane in 2 years. The last time I was on a plane, I was going to San Diego in March of 2020. So it has been a while since I've traveled, and I'm already kind of a nervous traveler. I get really bad motion sickness. I just am kind of an anxious person, and traveling just flares up my anxiety. So I thought bringing these romance novels along on my trip would kind of help calm me, and they would be a good distraction, and they just sound like a lot of fun. They're books that I've been wanting to read for a while, so I'm excited to get to them. I'm bringing my Kindle. I'm bringing my old Kindle so that Ryan can use my newer one. This is the device that I'm going to be taking with me on my trip. All 3 of the romance novels are loaded up on here and ready to go. All I need to do is pack them in my bag. The other thing that's happening this week, I'm starting a new job. It has been over a decade since I have worked for someone other than myself. And after some careful consideration, thinking over my goals, my financial goals, what Ryan and I wanted for ourselves in the future, I decided to go back to work. My first day is Monday. I'm feeling excited, nervous, all the usual things. And so I could definitely use some escape with these romance novels. I do have the 3 picked out that I want to read, but I haven't quite decided which one I want to dive in first. I need to get some packing done, so I'm going to do that and think about which one I want to start, and I will let you know as soon as I decide which romance novel with the blue cover is going to be the first book that I read for this reading vlog. I think the first book I'm going to be reading for this vlog is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. This is a pretty popular romance novel. I think it blew up big on TikTok, but even before then, a lot of people were talking about it. I've heard people talk about it for a really long time, so I'm looking forward to finally getting around to reading it. It involves a main character who is on the spectrum, and she doesn't really know how to be physical with love or how to do the physicality of love and sex. So she hires an escort to teach her, and maybe they fall in love, maybe they don't. I think this one's pretty steamy, so it might be a little awkward to read on a plane, but let's go for it. I have landed. I was able to get about 50% of the way through The Kiss Quotient. It's pretty cute. I'm enjoying it. I like the premise. I like the characters. It's getting pretty steamy. And I'll tell you more of my feelings about it when I'm not in a crowded airport with a loudspeaker overhead and random strangers walking by. Sunny out here. I forgot my sunglasses. Smells like wet eucalyptus trees. Fresh rain, because it rained this morning. There was actually thunder. I'm almost done reading The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang. This book is really interesting. It's not as playful as I thought it would be. It's a lot more serious with a lot more serious themes. So we have Stella, who is our main character, and Stella has Asperger's syndrome. She is on the autism spectrum. She's good at numbers. She's very intelligent. She loves her job. But she doesn't really understand too much about relationships or about the sexual side of relationships or about having a boyfriend. She's never had a boyfriend. She has dated some people, but it never really went well. Her mom is pressuring her to get a boyfriend and have kids. So she comes up with this plan where she's going to hire an escort to teach her about sex so she can practice having sex and practice that side of a relationship. But very quickly she learns that she's going to need more than that, and so she's going to practice being in a relationship with him. And of course that complicates things because he's an escort. And so is he doing this for love or for money? There's all sorts of interesting complications and interesting layers with both of these characters and with this story. Obviously there's a lot of bedroom scenes on screen. So if you're not into that kind of thing with your romance novels, this might not be the book for you. But I do really enjoy how the author is complicating these characters' lives, and the discussion of like loneliness and how we find people and how we interact in relationships, and the concept of like finding our person. I like how they both have their own insecurities and their own issues that they're trying to work past, and how these things just kind of collide together in this book. They're very complicated as characters. They're not perfect. They have issues. They have insecurities that are affecting their relationship and how they're working together or not working together. Sometimes I do find like the jealousy issue a little bit annoying, but it's still working pretty well for me. I'm going pretty quickly through the book. It's a pretty easy read, but I am enjoying. I think my favorite part about this book is just simply getting to know these characters and seeing how they fall in love, fall out of love. Will they come back together in the end? We shall see. Flying home later tonight. It's been a good visit with my friend, but I'm definitely feeling a little homesick and ready to go home. Such a homebody. Tomorrow I start my new job, trying not to think about that. I am about 100 pages into Recipe for Persuasion, and it is a little bit darker in theme than I anticipated. There is a romance setup, but also the main character has a lot of emotional issues and trauma issues that she's dealing with. She's had a rough few years. Her father passed away, leaving her with a lot of emotional baggage, and with a restaurant that's failing, and she's trying to bring the restaurant back up to speed, make it profitable again, keep it alive in honor of her father. She's got some issues with her mother, a large extended family, and there's certainly something going on with her romantic past that I am still learning about. I'm only 100 pages in and I'm still learning a lot about the characters. I'm enjoying it so far. It's quite a bit different than the Kiss Quotient. Like I said, it's a little bit darker in tone and in theme. It's not quite the playful rom-com that I was expecting, but I am enjoying it. So hopefully I'll be able to get a lot more read this evening when I am flying back home. I just finished my first day of work in over a decade, my first real job, my first corporate job, my first day back in corporate America. You have to celebrate the small victories, so I bought myself a small bottle of champagne because this is not a large victory. It is indeed a small victory because people go to work every day You people amaze me. Maybe one day I will talk about why, after a decade, I returned to work, why I got a real job. Today is not that day. Today I want to talk about Recipe for Persuasion. I am about 2/3 of the way through the book. I got a lot read on the plane last night. And this is not marketed well. This book has been marketed terribly. It has been marketed as a romantic comedy, and it is not. These people are going through a lot of trauma. They have gone through a lot in their lives. There's nothing really very funny about this book. There are some funny moments, but honestly, this is just a kind of a book about, yes, there's romance. There's two people who were in love before, so it's kind of like a second chance romance. A little bit of enemies to lovers. I don't know if they're going to become lovers. But really, the main character is delving deep into some PTSD that she's been having, some stuff, some issues revolving around her parents, her family, how she was raised, how she grew up, a mother who abandoned her, a father who was an alcoholic. There are a lot of heavy things in this book, and I don't know why it is marketed as a romantic comedy at all. It is good. I am enjoying it. I am finding the characters interesting. It can be a little difficult to read because it can be tiring to read about other people's traumas. One thing that's been happening is that the main narrator is Ashna, I believe is her name, and it's been switching between her and the romantic lead Rico, and they had a history together, a romantic history together. But then we're also seeing glimpses of Ashna's mother and her story and how she came to be and where she came from and how she became this person who abandoned her daughter. And that has been one of the more interesting elements of the story to me. It is a really sunny day today. It is a very beautiful day today. It's a little chilly outside, but we are doing some more bike training today, so I'm going to go get changed out of my business lady clothes. I still have my seatbelt on. Okay. Relax. The day is over. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of it while the sun's still out. I'm going to go get my vitamin D on, and then I'll probably read some more of this book. Updating the vlog as much as I wanted to. I finished Recipe for Persuasion early this morning. The marketing on that book, I know I've said it before, but that was not a romance novel. There were romance elements, sure, but it was a completely different kind of book than I was expecting. I'll talk about that a little later. I also started Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. That is my third blue-covered romance novel that I am reading for this vlog. I saved what I hope will be the best for last. I read the other books in the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert, and I have been looking forward to reading this one for a while. So I think I read about 20 pages today at lunch, and I'm hoping to get some more good reading in this evening. I'm really looking forward to spending some time with Eve Brown. She is the youngest sister, and so far I have liked the first 2 chapters that I've read. I am already hooked on what's happening. I have not been great about updating this reading vlog. It's Saturday, March 12th, and I'm about halfway through Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I'm having a great time with this book. It is making me laugh out loud quite a bit. Like I said, I'm about halfway through, and things are starting to heat up between our couple. I think what I'm enjoying most about these two characters is kind of their awkwardness together. They always are very blunt with each other, but in very different ways, and they just have kind of an awkward way of communicating, and it lends itself to some very funny moments and some very funny banter. There's this one scene where they are going on a friend date and it takes a very unexpected turn, and I was just snorting with laughter the whole time that I was reading through it. I was hoping to be done with this book and with the vlog by now. I was trying to get all 3 books read in a week, but it turns out when you start a new job, your time kind of slips away from you a little bit faster. So I'd love to get this book finished and this vlog wrapped up this weekend. We went on a 40-mile bike ride this morning. It was really sunny outside and we just hopped on our bikes and took a long ride, and now it is raining cats and dogs outside. So we picked the perfect biking window. Tonight we're going to meet up with some friends for a birthday dinner, but I think I have a little bit of time before the dinner to sit and get some really good reading done. I'm gonna do a little bit of video editing right now, and then I'm gonna go curl up on the couch for like an hour and see how much of Act Your Age, Eve Brown I can get through, and then I should be able to finish it up tomorrow on Sunday. There's not a whole lot going on, and it's supposed to be just kind of gross and rainy all day, so perfect reading weather. Happy Sunday. This morning has been kind of chill. I have been doing some house chores, drinking tea, finishing up the book Act Your Age, Eve Brown. The other fun thing that happened this morning was that I was over on Margaret Pinard's channel. Margaret is an author and booktuber, and we were chatting about the bookish life of Nina Hill, which has a little bit of blue on the cover, so it kind of fits with this vlog. So we were chatting live about this book that we both read together. I'm gonna leave the link down below if you wanna go listen to all of our thoughts and watch me just embarrassingly ramble on and on. I know you love watching me ramble on and on. That's why you're here watching this vlog, right? That's what I did this morning. Chatted with Margaret about the bookish life of Nina Hill. We had a pretty fun time. So if you are interested in hearing more about the bookish life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman, go check out that live video. It is not live anymore, but it was, but now it's not. But you can still leave comments. I don't know how YouTube works, but let's talk about the books that I read during this vlog. I have held you captive long enough with discussion of love and romance and blue covers. I finished reading Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, and as I thought, I really loved this book. Talia Hibbert has just such a unique and playful way of giving you her characters, and I just love spending time with her characters. So if you're not familiar, Talia Hibbert has a series. It's called the Brown Sisters series, and you are following 3 different sisters from this family and their romantic affairs and romantic attachments and romantic foibles. The first book was Get a Life, Chloe Brown. The second book was Take a Chance, Danny Brown, I think. And then this third one is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. So Eve Brown is the youngest Brown sister, and she's a bit of a hot mess at the beginning of this book. She's very just disorganized, flighty. She lives with her parents. She has been going through a lot of changes in her life. She has been trying to hold down a job, but just can't seem to do it. And she has started multiple businesses and failed at them, and her parents sit her down and they say, Eve, you need to do something different. We need something different from you. We're cutting you off. Oh, so they have like a trust fund. So they're like, we're cutting you off until you figure out what the heck you're gonna do with your life. And Eve just falls apart at that point. She runs away. She drives into the country and ends up at this little bed and breakfast where she meets Jacob. And Jacob is on the autism spectrum, and Jacob is adorable. I might be a little bit in love with him myself. So he is very direct in his communication style, and he says what he means, and he is honest, and he just like, his delivery is a little sharp and a little abrupt. The meet cute between him and Eve is mwah. I love it. I loved every minute of this book. It is a typical romance novel. You have the 2 characters. You get both sides, the heroine and the hero. You see the love story growing between both of them from both their perspectives, which I loved. And obviously there's conflict between them, and some of it's so delightful and some of it's just, I laughed out loud so much with this book. Talia Hibbert also writes very steamy, sexy scenes, like on-page sex. So Again, if you don't like that kind of thing, this book might not be for you. You could, skip it. What I like that Talia Hibbert does with the steamy scenes is that she doesn't just make it about the physical activity of it, she also layers in emotional aspects to it and really shows the growth of the characters together. And so you get steamy, but you also get like character growth inside those steamy scenes, which I just really think is a great way to tell a sexy story. Act Your Age, Eve Brown was my favorite book of this vlog. Of the 3 books I read in this vlog, that one was the winner. I knew it would be. I knew I was going to love it. I had been kind of not putting it off, but like saving it for a special occasion. It was just the perfect book that I needed this week. It was a perfect distraction with all the heartwarming, feel-good feelings. So I feel like I also kind of need to talk about the other 2 books because during the vlog I was kind of traveling and it was a little bit difficult to chat about the books with you guys. Which one did I read first? I read The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang first, and that one was a lot of fun. It was a little bit darker in theme, not too dark. There were still a lot of great playful moments between the characters and a lot of sexy steamy scenes, and I really enjoyed both of those characters, although I did not connect as much with them. There was a jealousy aspect that I didn't really connect with, so both of the main characters were jealous of the others' relationships, and I kind of understood why the author did this because the premise was set up as Stella hired an escort to teach her romance and to teach her love and sex, and so obviously there's going to be a little bit of jealousy issue here, but it didn't play very well on the page for me. It was maybe just a personal preference that I don't really like the trope of a jealous lover. I kind of like more feel-good, heartwarming romances where the couples are just all cutesy, like disgustingly cute to each other. So The Kiss Quotient, I really liked the exploration of loneliness and finding yourself and figuring out who you are in relation to a romantic attachment, and this idea of like, are we deserving of love? Who is deserving of love? Where do we find it? So I did really enjoy The Kiss Quotient. The second book I read was Recipe for Persuasion by Sonali, and this one I think just had an issue with being marketed wrong because it's marketed as a romantic comedy. The cover looks like a romantic comedy. The premise is set up like a romantic comedy. So the premise is that the main character gets involved in this reality TV show where she is going to be a chef and she's going to be paired up with a celebrity and they're going to cook things together. And the celebrity that she is paired up with turns out to be this very famous, very hot soccer player who she knew from her childhood. They have a history together, a romantic history, so it's a little bit of a second chance romance. At least that's how it's set up as, and it did kind of deliver that as well. So that premise with the cover made me think that it was going to be a very playful, typical romantic comedy where we would have, hijinks on this reality TV show and a will they, won't they second chance romance. There was a little bit of that, but there were a lot of darker themes in Recipe for Persuasion. Specifically, there was a lot of themes around PTSD and trauma. Our main character experienced a lot of trauma in her past. She's experienced a lot of issues with her family, with her father, with her mother. There is a lot going on that is not comedic and actually very serious. And while I think it was handled well in the book, I did very much enjoy reading this book. I think that because I went into it thinking it was going to be a funny, playful, heartwarming book, I was a little bit thrown off. So once I got settled into the idea of what this book actually was, I did enjoy it. It is not my favorite romantic comedy because it's not a romantic comedy. It does feel a little bit more like women's fiction, contemporary literary fiction, rather than romantic comedy. There were not a lot of steamy scenes. There was not a lot of actual romance between the couple. There was a little bit of tension building up, and you did get to see a little bit of the back and forth. But the focus is more on the main character, I think her name is Ashna, on her family and her history and her development, her trauma, and her coming to terms with what happened to her and whether she can ever recover from that. And learning the truth about her family and about her past and about her mother and how all these things affected her relationship with this very hot soccer player. It does have a happy ending, so it does kind of still fit into that romance category. But if you are going to pick up this book, just go into it knowing that it is not a light and fluffy read. There is a significant amount of discussion of trauma, assault, marital issues, even suicide. And so just go into it with that, and I think you will enjoy it. And then obviously, as I already talked about, Act Your Age, Eve Brown was the third book of this vlog and my favorite. It was fun. It was delightful. It was over the top steamy. Whew. I mean, I definitely blushed a few times, and it was everything that I hoped it would be. So I am looking forward to more Talia Hibbert books. There are only 3 Brown sisters, and so I think we got all the Brown sisters that we're gonna get, but I'm kind of hoping there'll be a book about some of the characters that were in this book 3, because they were kind of intriguing, so we'll see what comes next. So after all of the very dark themed traumatic books that I read last month in my books with girls in the title, was that it? Yeah, all the traumatic girl books. It was very nice to take a break from all that and spend some time reading these romance novels with blue covers. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are on them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.